Well, the streak ended. And I know a lot of you wanted that. You missed the tilts. Don't worry. You're going to get a tilt tonight. All right. Before we do recap everything, though, welcome, guys. My name is DK. And we'll be talking about the 8-game NBA DFS slate on Friday. I also make content for XFL and for Prize Picks. Prize Picks, they are the sponsor of the video. You can use the code DKDFS for a 100% match up to $100. Had another good day overall on Prize Picks. Advanced to round 3 of the ladder challenge, which I'm doing. Post that on YouTube and on Twitter. But ladder challenge shares bonus and Claxton. So tomorrow we'll be going $100 into $300. Won a couple other power plays. Went 4 and 2 in my overall 6-pick flex. Not awful. So if you guys do want to give it a try, make sure to use the code DKDFS. That'll give you a 100% match up to $100. Again, it'll be linked down below as well. And if you're looking for premium content, you can always check my Patreon, linked down below too. Okay, so now let's recap it. And yeah, it's looking good right now in XFL, but NBA literally just missed. I missed by 0.25 in low stakes tournaments, missed by a little bit more in high stakes. And once again, a pivot cost me. I can't be like mad about it because I think I made the correct call, but I ended up pivoting off of campaign once we got the Bucks news to prioritize. I wanted to prioritize one of Ingles or Connaughton. And of course, you just get the career game for campaign. So that's frustrating, but again, like I think I made the right call there, going to prioritize one of the Bucks wings there. But going over the rest of my lineup, Boucher also unowned. Boucher, massive foul trouble of the random variety. 3 quick ones in the first half. Number 4, number 5 right away in the second half. Smashing, no way, right to the bench. Massive minutes. He lost. It was a random foul trouble. At 1% ownership. 1%. Cam Johnson. Literally, if I played the first half in that game, I would have done better than Cam Johnson. Also, can we talk about Sacramento, Brooklyn? Projected to be the highest scoring game of the day. 50 points under the total. How did the faders know? How did they know? I'm glad the Sabonis faders continue to be punished. When will they learn their lesson? Nick Claxton smashed, pivoted to McConnell, and then once we got the Halbert news, and then Bobby Portis to round it out. So that was the recap for me. Again, Boucher, foul trouble, very tilting, pivoting off campaign and career game for him. Whatever. Gary Trent Jr. overowned. Can't miss. It's like, okay. Also, and this was unbelievable. This was actually unbelievable. My YouTube video for Prize Picks, we took Scotty Barnes under 29.5 PRA. He had like 20 PRA. 2 minutes to go. The Raptors are up 20. Timeout. Everyone gets pulled besides Scotty Barnes. Closes the game in a blowout and goes nuclear in the last couple of minutes to go over. What are we doing? What are we actually doing? What are we doing? But yeah, so that's a recap there. Finally did not hit in GPPs, but did have a good day overall in Prize Picks. So yeah, let's move on to this 8-game slate. And we'll start off with Philadelphia and Charlotte. So on the Philadelphia side, fully healthy team, but it's a great matchup. I like the upside in Embiid, who should play high 30s minutes. I like the upside in Harden, same thing. Like I said, fantastic matchup. I think Maxey is playable at 6'3". His price was up to like mid 7K range, which is too pricey. At this price point, he's playable. Same with Tobias Harris at 4.9K. Minutes have not been amazing for him. I think we see 25 to 30 minutes from Tobias. The minutes on Melton are all over the place. I just don't really trust the rest of this rotation. PJ Tucker, I don't think I can even stomach that. Shake Milton probably plays a little bit. Probably a little bit of Niang as well. But yeah, I don't trust any really of the value plays for Philly. Moving on to Charlotte. So once again, Mark Williams is still out. You should get Richards and Kai Jones splitting the center position. It's a tough matchup here against Embiid. But yeah, if Richards can stay out of foul trouble, I like his ceiling. If you think he gets in foul trouble, you can maybe look to a 3.2K Kai Jones, who would benefit in that scenario. The top end guys, Rozier, Oubre would probably be the guys I'd look to, playing 35 to 40 minutes a night. these are the guys getting highest usage, getting a lot of shots up. So a little bit of Rozier and Oubre for tournaments. I think Hayward's fine. Peter Washington's fine. I'm not going to get to anyone else, though, on this team. Washington, Cleveland's not a ton here for the Washington side. It's an awful matchup, and now they're fully healthy. So if you want to look for Porzingis, Beal, or Kuzma to get different in a large field tournament, I guess that's okay. But this team is basically a stay away from me in an awful spot. On the Cleveland side, still no Jarrett Allen. So you get Mobley starting at the 5. I think at 7.6K, actually makes him a pretty good play. Mitchell, Garland, these guys are both viable as well. The upside is the highest on Mitchell. Garland, I didn't really understand the ownership on him last game. He was a bust, but I think he's fine at that price point. You did see Karis LeVert, even with Mitchell and Garland both play 36 minutes off the bench. I don't know if we can expect that every single night, but clearly a guy that, the ceiling is there for him in tournaments. And then like a Coro and Osman, Lamar Stevens, Ricky Rubio, these guys will be in the rotation as well. Chetty, back-to-back really nice games, but that last game was without Rubio, so I don't know if we'd see 30 minutes again for him. He was only at 3.4K. Lamar Stevens probably starts. Again, only played 12 minutes last game. So, and then Ricky Rubio, I expect him to probably play 15 to 20 minutes. He's a viable dart throw. Golden State, Atlanta, so we got no Draymond, no Wiggins, and Steph Curry's status up in the air. So this is pretty important. Looney expected to play. If Steph misses, I would guess you get the starting lineup of Poole, Clay, DiVincenzo, Kuminga, Looney. If that's the case, then Poole and Klay Thompson look really good. Poole at 6'2", Klay at 7'1". They would run the offense in a great matchup. And then DiVincenzo would be a good play in the mid-range. Looney and Kuminga would be good values. There would be a lot to like here for Golden State if there's no Steph Curry. I think you could even start making the arguments for guys like, Green, Jerome if he plays, if not maybe a Moses Moody, just because they would be shorthanded. If Steph Curry is in, then I like Steph Curry himself at the top. We see this is the type of upside that he does have. And then it would downgrade Clay and Poole and everyone else a bit as well. Now, Steph Curry news is pretty important for Golden State. Come on to Atlanta. Atlanta looks like they're going to be fully healthy. Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, I like the upside for them. I wouldn't call either a must. 9-5 for Trae, 7-8 for Murray. Capella, Okongwu, they're splitting the center position. And then you have Hunter, Collins, Bey, Bogdanovich kind of rounding out the rotation. These guys are all fine. 4K for Bogdanovich does feel a little bit too cheap. Bey at 4.5, Collins at 4.6, Hunter at 5K. They're all reasonable plays. Minnesota and Chicago. So Gobert is questionable, but I expect him to play. He played last game. Anthony Edwards at 9.2. Like the matchup for him, he should play high 30s minutes. I think he's a good play in both formats. Gobert himself should see low 30s minutes. He's playable for sure. Kyle Anderson's 6.9K feels like a lot, but he's playing a ton of minutes right now and doing everything for the team. He's getting close to triple-double like almost every single night. So I still have interest in slow-mo there. Conley, McDaniel's more secondary options, but they should see around 30 minutes. Taurean Prince probably sees 15 to 20 minutes off the bench at 3.5. Nickeil Alexander-Walker minutes 15 to 20. They're more just dart throws. All right, so for Chicago, we got to keep an eye on the Caruso news. Last game without Alex Caruso, so Ayo Dosunmu start. He played 28 minutes. You did see a minutes bump for Kobe White and for Patrick Williams. So it could open up a little bit of value if there's no Caruso. If Caruso's in, I think it would mainly just be the top guys, LaVine, DeRozan, Vooch. The issue I have with these guys is always trying to figure out who it's going to be that has a really big night. Like last night, it was DeRozan. It's been LaVine recently. It can be Vooch. So I think it would mainly be just the top guys there for Chicago if there is, if Caruso's in. New Orleans and Houston. So this game should be pretty appealing for DFS purposes. No Zion still. Great matchup here. I like Ingram. I like CJ. I expect both these guys to play high 30s minutes. I think both look pretty good. Maybe a small preference to Ingram. I also think Ingram will be more popular. Trey Murphy's been playing really well of late, too. I expect him to play mid-30s minutes. He's fine. JV's minutes have not been great, but he's still productive. If he sees one of those games where he plays 30-ish minutes, he could crush in tournaments. Herb Jones, if he stays out of foul trouble, I expect him to play mid-30s minutes. He's a fine play. Richardson, Marshall, did see Larry Nance play 22 minutes last game at 3.5K. I don't hate that if they continue to limit JV. And Houston. So Houston ran a pretty tight rotation. Again, last game I pivoted off Kevin Porter Jr. because Wendy Gabriel is not starting. That cost me a lot of money. I think KPJ, who's going to play 35-plus minutes, still looks good at 7.5. Green, a little bit of a lower floor, but a similar ceiling. We saw the floor last game, only 21 fancy points. Şengün minutes have not been amazing, but he'll be productive when he's in the court. So I have interest in him for tournaments. Jabari Smith, floor goes way down with Şengün in. But but he's still playing big minutes. He's still getting a lot of shots up. I think he's a viable contrarian play. Barton, I think, is like fine in both formats just because he's not a super high ceiling, but relatively high floor if he continues to play those type of minutes. I don't think I get to my boy Eason or Tate. Memphis and San Antonio, so the price points have dropped a bit on the Memphis guys, and now you get a really good matchup. So I would say the main three guys look pretty good here. 6.7K for Tyus Jones, 7.4 for Desmond Bane, and 7.3 for Jaren Jackson. Last game was a blowout and an awful matchup, so I don't put too much emphasis into that. I'm fine going right back to these Grizzlies. I expect mid-30s minutes from all three as long as there's no foul trouble. So I like all three a good amount. Tillman's more of just that last guy in for me. Probably sees 25 to 30 minutes. Dylan Brooks, I mean, he's going to shoot a lot when he's out there, so he's playable in GPPs. Aldama, been getting some backup run. He's fine at sub 4K. Don't know if I get to anyone else. I mean, Roddy will see rotation minutes, but I'll probably pass there. For the Spurs, they're actually relatively healthy tomorrow. So they're sitting Graham. We don't know the stats of Bates Diop, but you have Keldon healthy, Vassell healthy, Collins healthy, Sohan healthy, Trey Jones healthy. I would guess that's the starting lineup. Jones, Vassell, Sohan, Keldon, Collins. But I guess they might keep Branham in the starting lineup too. We'll see. Either way, I think Collins and Keldon Johnson probably have the highest ceiling. But 7.5K for Keldon Johnson, I don't love that price point. 6.5 for Collins, a little bit easier to get to. And Sohan is also flash at ceiling too. So I think those three are playable. I mean, Vassell's been awful. So this is going to be the game when they're fully healthy that he smashes probably. Trey Jones, the minutes have just not been amazing on him. 27 minutes in regulation. So Branham, if he starts, I guess is fine. But that's about it. Muklas Faley's price is up. He'll play the backup 5 most likely, but don't think we need to go there. All right, Boston, Portland, I should say. So Tatum status up in the air and no Rob Williams. Tatum news is massive, right? It's massive. It's going to open up a ton. If Tatum's out, obviously Jaylen Brown becomes the go-to guy. He becomes a really good spend up. And this group of Brogdon, White, and Smart all get a pretty big usage bump. Should get a minutes bump as well. Those three look really good too. Al Horford, role wouldn't necessarily change, but he would play low 30s minutes. And then you probably just get more run for like Grant Williams and Sam Hauser. So really important news there for Tatum. If Tatum is in, then, all the guards are secondary plays. I think Brown's a secondary play, and I think Tatum himself would be a decent option, but not a priority. So status of Tatum is huge for depending on what I want to do with Boston. If he's in, don't know if I get to anyone. If he's out, I'll probably try to get to a couple pieces. On the Portland side, so you got Dame probable, Jeremy Grant questionable. With Jeremy Grant missing last game, you saw massive minutes for Trenton Watford, who got the surprise start and played 40 minutes. So he could be a potential value if there's no Jeremy Grant. Damian Lillard at 10-3. I mean, ceiling's there, right? I think he's a good play. I don't know if he'll be that popular, but still doing everything for this team. Simons, Nurkic, they're fine. Simons probably plays mid-30s minutes. Nurkic, if the minutes are there, does feel too cheap, but his minutes have been all over the place. 17, 26, 10, and 28 minutes over the last 4. Thibault had a massive game last game. I would say that's a bit of an outlier, though, so don't know if I want to chase that. Let's finish up with Dallas and the Lakers. So Dallas, Luka out. We don't know the status of Hardaway and Kyrie. The issue is a lot of these guys are priced up. Hardy above 7K. Josh Green in the mid 6K range. Bullock's over 5K, which is wild. So even if Kyrie and Hardaway are out, I don't know if there'd be a ton that I would love. Again, like Hardy, Green would run the offense. They would still be solid options. Wood only played, 23 minutes in regulation. He had a massive game. But the price point's up to almost 7K in him. Bullock and, Kleba and McKinley Wright should get a lot of run, but a lot of the price points are up. And then if Kyrie and Hardaway are in, I think the only guy I would probably play would be Kyrie himself if there's no limitations. So Dallas not as appealing with the price points up on a lot of guys. And finally, the Lakers. Lakers another one where you have a lot of these guys priced up from when AD was out. AD's now back. So I think it's mainly just Anthony Davis that I'm looking to. In a competitive game, I expect mid-30s minutes. A guy that's a 1.5 fantasy point per minute guy without LeBron James on the court. But price bump on D'Lo. He was awful last game without AD, so he'll probably smash to tilt us all. Vanderbilt's too pricey for me. Reeves, I guess, is still fine because he's just playing really well off the bench. But Schroeder, a little pricey. Malik Beasley, I guess if he knocks down his shots, he can get there. But I can't tell if he's going to make a shot. So a lot of these guys feel overpriced with Anthony Davis coming back. Yeah, so that's going to do it for the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed the return of the tilt. Yeah, appreciate the support as always, and keep an eye out for the prize picks content. Moving on to day 3 of the ladder challenge. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video.